Councilors.
Good evening. Welcome
Good eve-
back.
Good evening. Yes, it's been a few weeks, so let us call this council meeting to order. We'll all rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United
States of America
and to the
and
republic
to the republic
for which
for which it stands,
one nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice for all.
Would you please remain standing for a moment of silence as we honor our service men and women and for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you to Senior Councilor Spatafora for presiding over the last couple of meetings. Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome, sir.
And so let's get back into the business of the day. So under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you in attendance, please be informed that MATV, formerly MATV, now known as UMA, as well as one of our Malden residents will be filming and recording this evening. So please be aware that there'll be both audio and video recording of this meeting. Let's start with the first order of business, and that is our Mayor Christenson, to appear before the City Council to present the FY2022.
Council, can I do a roll call? Roll call?
We want to do that, huh? I guess we should find out who is here, huh? Will the clerk call the roll?
Kamel,
Here.
Condon,
Condon here.
Crow,
Here.
DiMaria,
Hey, Maria here.
Linehan,
Linehan here.
Murphy,
Murphy here.
O'Malley,
here.
Sika,
Speaker here.
Spatafora, Spatafora here. Winslow,
Winslow here.
Anderson,
Anderson here.
all accounted for.
Okay, now we'll move to the first order of, the next order of business. With His Honor, the Mayor, coming to present the budget, huh? So we'll all rise in honor of the Mayor, Mayor Christenson. All rise for the Mayor. Mayor Christenson, are you on?
Yes.
Well, we have risen.
Why can't everyone treat me like that? Mr. President and members of the City Council, I know I am here to speak to you about the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget, but let me first take this opportunity to publicly thank all of you for your hard work in helping our community address COVID-19. Your commitment to continuing to conduct the important business of the city, despite the obstacles we faced, has been nothing short of impressive, and I thank you all for that. I also think it is important to thank a few key people regarding tonight's presentation. Ron Hogan, Chuck Ranigan, Maria Luis, and Anthony Ciccarelli have been working on this since December. And again, I am certain that we would not be here without their hard work and dedication. I know that we delivered to you a hard copy of the budget book earlier today. And at this time, we are also making it available on the city's website at cityofmalden.org/budget. The first thing you will notice is that the budget is new and improved in a dramatic way. We have utilized the best in budgeting software, which provides a platform for a more comprehensive view of the city and its operations. In fact, we are so pleased with the end result that we will be submitting our budget to the Government Finance Officers Association for their Excellence in Budgeting Award. This is an achievement that, if attained, would be a first for the city of Malden and would signify a level of transparency that would be considered the gold standard in the presentation of a budget. As for the budget itself, the term that comes to mind in describing this proposal is cautious optimism. I think those of us who were around during the last recession can breathe a sigh of relief that this pandemic will not result in the cuts to services and personnel seen previously, thanks to the extraordinary response by both the state and federal government. I want to thank our state legislative delegation, which includes Senator Lewis and Representatives Donato, Altrino, and Lippic-Garabedian, for keeping local aid intact at the height of the pandemic. And also say thank you to our US Senators, Senator Warren and Malden's own Senator Markey, as well as our Congresswoman Catherine Clark, for their support in passing the American Rescue Plan Act. Just yesterday afternoon, we received guidance from the US Treasury that we have been waiting for on the use of these funds, and our finance team is currently analyzing that guidance, which will determine our next steps. I want to emphasize for the public watching or reviewing this budget that the funding provided for by the American Rescue Plan is not contained within this budget. I've had that question asked by several of our residents, including my dad. That will involve a separate process, which we will quickly get underway. As we look to the opportunities that will be provided for with this funding, we will have to be mindful that it's temporary in nature and not take on costs that will have to be annualized beyond when the funding ends, which as of now is in December of 2024. We have met with the chairs of the Finance and Ordinance Committees, Councilors Murphy and Spatafora, to provide an overview of the budget and specific ordinance changes to support some of our proposals, which will be forthcoming for your consideration. The budget as presented preserves city services, fully funds the required increase in our contribution for our schools, and moves us forward with additional financial commitments in the important areas of diversity, economic development, and health and human services. The budget also highlights some areas of concern, including rising pension and healthcare costs. It is our job to strike the right balance in proposing a budget that addresses current needs and wants with a watchful eye toward the future. I think this budget accomplishes just that. I look forward to our discussion and hearing your input on our financial blueprint. In the meantime, I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions from the council? I also, not mentioned, but I also had an opportunity after returning from my time out of town to review the budget with the mayor and his staff as well. So we have it here with us this evening. Any hands to be raised? Seeing none. Councilor Murphy. You are muted.
I would like to make a motion to move the budget to the Finance Committee.
Second.
Second.
So on Councilor Murphy's motion, that we refer this to the Finance Committee, seconded by a whole bunch of people. Did you catch who that was there, Council?
I did. I think Council Crowe won the race.
And on the motion to refer, the clerk will please call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Maria,
Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. So that budget will now be referred to the Finance Committee.
If only that was a motion to adopt. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next order of business,
I do have 3 public comments, if I could read them.
please do.
First one is, this is a public comment regarding Order 232-21. I'm glad the City Council is revisiting inclusionary zoning, and I urge support of this critical order for our city. An affordable, attainable mix of housing options has been such a strength of our community for so many years and has been an important part of what allows Malden's diversity to thrive. With housing prices going up double digits each year now, both home prices and rents, housing affordability is slipping out of reach for many Maldonians. We need to act now to create more options for the mid and lower level parts of the housing market. And while I had hoped that this order would be more far-reaching, I applaud that it is moving forward. We need an updated, comprehensive citywide strategy for affordable, truly attainable housing if we want people to be able to buy a home, raise a family, and be invested in Malden for years to come. Inclusionary zoning is an essential piece of that strategy. I hope your approval of this order today will be a policy to build on and a signal to our entire community that Malden takes the need for housing seriously. Carrie McDonald, Ward 5, 33 Pear Street, Malden. Dear Malden City Council, I wish to request that the council make a concerted effort to research and completely understand all of the health and safety concerns of the antenna request for placement around the city. Technology is moving fast and it is important to keep up, but we want to do this in a safe manner. Thank you for your consideration. Kathleen Sullivan, 27 Oliver Street. Please take this public comment in opposition to file 247-21 for the approval of additional small cell antennas. The current safety standards for power density and SAR specific absorption rate are outdated. They only take a limited number of health concerns into consideration. They do not consider that some individuals are more vulnerable than others. A commission in New Hampshire reported last year that the type of RF radiation generated by wireless devices can have a deleterious effect on humans, especially children, as well as animals, insects, and vegetation. The effects are just not thermal in nature. It is not just about people getting rashes. Peer-reviewed studies identify that non-thermal, non-ionizing radiation is a source of oxidative stress, affecting DNA, fertility, and nerve function, to name a few things. Furthermore, the World Health Organization acknowledges that the people are sensitive to exposure levels much lower than what they are currently allowed. The approval of these small cell antennas without holding appropriate discussions constitutes an environmental justice threat to the community. Rather than rubber stamping these petitions while the total number of antennas exceeds 100, the city should postpone further approval of small cell antennas and finish discussion of the related ordinance proposals that are currently pending legal review. The council has been flying by the seat of the pants for too long on this issue. And on technical grounds, city ordinance requires that petitions be complete before they are considered. As of the public hearing last week, the required documentation was still not available. On March 8th, the petitioner communicated to the city that Verizon does not even make certain information public available. If the petitioner is at odds with city ordinance, then the council should seek a resolution above board, either by changing its own ordinance or by denying the petition. What is this thing where the petitioner simply asks for the city to reconsider its rules? He gets a pass without explanation. It's not transparent. Regards, John Sayer, 39 Pear Street, Malden.
That's it, sir?
That's it.
Okay. Next order of business.
We have a bunch of minutes for approval, paper 219-21, minutes of April 6th.
Just one second. I'm sorry,
Sure.
Mr. Lucy. There are a couple of hands up. Councilor Murphy, did you have your hand up? Counselor O'Malley, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted, those were the public comment that was submitted in writing. I wasn't sure if we wanted to ask if any of the attendees wanted to raise their hand for a public comment. I'm not sure if the attendees knew that they could raise their hand and submit public comment.
You all heard that? Okay, next order of business.
Is approval of minutes, paper 219-21, minutes of the meeting April 6th, 220-21, minutes of the meeting April 13th, 221-21, minutes of the meeting April 20th, 222-21, meeting of the April 27th, and 223-21, minutes of the meeting of May 4th.
Motion to approve.
Is that motion approved by Counselor Seeker, seconded by
Second.
Counselor Di Maria? The clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Seeker,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Those minutes have been approved by the full city council. Counselor Di Maria, your hand is still up. Is that,
That was for the minutes. I'll take it down.
thank you. Okay, next order of business.
Paper 224-21, mayoral reappointment, William Hurley, 67 Kimball Street, Malden, as a labor member of the Malden Housing Authority Board, said term to commence upon confirmation and to expire May 2nd, 2026.
Counselor,
Counselor Crowe.
Counselor, and as we have done, this is a reappointment, so we actually reappointed on the floor and only referred new appointments to the Personnel and Appointments Committee. So make a motion to reconfirm William Hurley as a member of the Housing Authority Board.
I'll second that.
And seconding that is Counselor Murphy.
Thank you. He's a Ward 5 resident, so I appreciate that.
5 resident. So on the motion to reconfirm, the clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Seeker,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Mr. Hurley has been reconfirmed to the Malden Housing Authority Board. Next order of business.
Paper 225-21, mayoral appointment, Faten, Shelbaych, 500 Broadway, apartment 1115, for the Human Rights and Fair Housing Commission as a resident member, said term to expire May 5th, 2022. Faten will replace resident member Bwann Gwann, who resigned.
Counselor Crowe.
Motion to refer to Personnel and Appointments as this is a new appointment.
Second.
On Counselor Crowe's motion to refer to committee, seconded by Counselor Di Maria. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Kamel,
He looks frozen.
He does look frozen.
he's mute too. Oh, no,
Hard to see, it's not just me.
we'll go back to him. Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Seeker,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Kamel.
Yeah, that appointment is,
I'll try one more time.
Kamel, did we get him
Yes.
on the record? Okay, so that appointment has been referred to the committee. Next order of business.
Paper 226-21, Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon, 118 Flanders Road, Westboro, Mass. Installation of necessary telecommunication equipment and corresponding aerial fiber optic cable on National Grid owners' utility poles within the public ways in the following locations: 17 Wade Street Extension, 1308 Salem Street, 1 Beach Street, 110, 112 Beach Street, 206 Oliver Street, 2 Evelyn Ave pole on Granite Street, 56 Rockingham Ave, 50-52 Rockwell Street, 39-41 Baker Street, Fairview Ave side, 100 Sylvan Street, Winship Side, 45-47 Forest Street, 30-36 Winter Street, 746 Main Street, Vernon Street Side, 59 Meridian Street, 35 Green Street, 257 Pearl Street, Thatcher Street Side, 3 Hawthorne Street, Elm Street Side, and 71 Washington Street, Linden Ave Side.
Counselor Lenahan,
Motion to refer to public property.
Second,
Counselor Lenahan's motion to refer to public property, seconded by Counselor Sika. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Grow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Those petitions are referred to committee. Next order of business.
We have 5 licenses, 3 are outdoor parking lots. Do you want me to take them all at once?
Please
City
do.
clerk, can I,
Yes,
are we just sending these to committee?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Right.
All right, we're good. Sorry.
So we have 3 outdoor parking, two outdoor parking lots, 227-21 outdoor parking Reganos, 1081 Fellsway, 20 cars, it's a renewal. Outdoor parking Reganos 1152 Eastern Ave, 10 spaces, it's a renewal. And paper 229-21 outdoor parking Reganos 1176 Eastern Ave, 15 spaces, it's a renewal.
Counselor
I
Con.
would like to refer that to License Committee, please.
Counselor Condon's motion to refer to license. Do we have a second?
second,
Counselor Di Maria seconds that motion. Please, clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora, Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Those papers will be referred to License Committee. Next order of business.
We have paper 230-21, a pool table, ITAMS Post 16, 40 Oakland Street, Malden. 1 table, it's a renewal.
Counselor
License,
Condon's motion
please.
to refer that to the License Committee. Seconded by
Sika,
Sika. Clerk, call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora. Spatafora, Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Clerk Lucy, sorry. Spatafora, yes. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
Thank you.
So the been referred, passed by the City Council. Next order of business.
Paper 231-21, secondhand dealer, AM Design Jewelry, 664 Salem Street. It's a renewal.
On Counselor Condon's
For
motion,
license?
refer that to license, seconded by
Sika,
Sika. Clerk, call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. That has been referred. Next order of business.
Paper 232-21, order be it hereby ordained that section 12 of the revised ordinances of 2020 be amended by adding section 12.12.200 entitled Inclusionary Zoning, and I do have a letter from the mayor.
Counselor Spatafora. And Councilor Winslow, refer that to the Rules and Ordinance Committee. Councilor Spatafora's motion, seconded by Councilor Winslow. Clerk, call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamali.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Di Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora.
We lost-
Spatafora,
I think he's gone.
Yeah, it looks like he got dropped.
He got dropped, yeah.
okay, Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes. That's referred to the committee. Next order of business.
Council President, should we hear the mayor's letter now that's been referred? He did submit a letter as well.
Councilor Crowe, would you say that again, please?
Clerk Lucy had mentioned that the mayor had submitted a letter along with the inclusionary zoning. Now that we've referred it to committee, should we hear the letter?
Yeah,
Right.
Yes, good idea.
Mr. President, I apologize. I don't have internet in my house. I'm at my yard. Evan Spatrini with the MRA is actually on. Can you bring him on? He has a quick PowerPoint he'd like to discuss the inclusionary zoning. He's in as a guest. He sent me a text earlier.
Evan, huh?
That's correct.
I think I have brought him on. I think I have. I think.
You have.
All right, he must be on now. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
We
Evan.
can hear you.
Is there any way you could make me a panelist? I have a quick, I don't think I can share my screen.
Well, you want everything, huh?
Yep. I'll settle for nothing less.
Well, let's see if I can promote to a panelist. All right, you've been promoted to a panelist.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. So what else can we do for your celebrity appearance here this evening?
Well, I have a quick presentation for you all.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing it.
All right. I'm gonna share my screen now. All right, can everyone see that?
We do.
Great. So thank you for having me, and good evening, everyone. My name is Evan Spatrini. I'm the Senior Planner and Policy Manager for the Malden Redevelopment Authority. Tonight, I'm going to give you just a brief overview of the proposal and how we got to this point, but there will be a much more in-depth discussion when we move into Ordinance Committee. So inclusionary zoning is a requirement on, excuse me, new residential development to set aside a certain percentage of units as below market affordable housing. Essentially, it acts as an internal subsidy where the market rate units are used to support the affordable ones. There is no one size fits all approach to inclusionary zoning, so the requirements vary greatly from city to city. The questions we needed to answer when crafting the ordinance are: what kinds of projects will be subject to inclusionary requirements? What percentage of units will be required to be affordable? What are the income limits? What is the level of affordability? And are there alternative methods of compliance, like paying a fee in lieu of building the unit on site? So in September 2019, we presented Mayor Christenson's affordable housing strategies to the council. These were developed in response to the data revealed in the city's housing needs assessment that showed a severe shortage of affordable housing and high rates of housing cost burden. The three strategies were to establish an affordable housing trust fund, adopt an inclusionary zoning ordinance, and launch a security deposit pilot program. We established the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which just spent the last year developing its first ever action plan, and will be ready to start funding projects later this year. Due to the pandemic, we changed our focus from the security deposit pilot program to direct rental assistance and eviction prevention programs. At the time, we explained that the first step in developing an inclusionary zoning ordinance is to conduct a financial feasibility study to make sure our proposal will maximize the potential for new affordable units without making new development financially infeasible, because any percentage of 0 units is 0 units. So at the mayor's direction, we formed an advisory group to guide the development of the study, which included Councillor Spatafora and Councillor Winslow, Maria Louise from the mayor's office, Michelle Romero, the city planner, Debbie Burke, and myself from the Redevelopment Authority, and Brian Slater from the Affordable Housing Trust. Levine Planning Strategies and Colliers International were selected to conduct the study, which was funded by contributions from the city, MRA, Housing Authority, and a grant from East Boston Savings Bank. Work on the study began last May. The consultants reviewed existing IZ literature and market data for Malden, conducted stakeholder interviews with market rate and affordable housing developers, property owners, and housing service providers, and developed a financial model and alternative IZ requirements. Our consultants created model pro formas for 4 hypothetical developments: a 15-unit townhouse or low-rise rental, 30-unit mid-rise rental, 50-unit high-rise rental, and a 15-unit townhouse or low-rise condominium project. Then they developed a financial model to test potential IZ requirements, which included the percentage of below-market units required, target income levels, fee in lieu options, and other zoning changes such as parking and density. So after a few iterations, the advisory group and our consultants developed 3 alternatives. Alternative 1 is 15% of units at 80% AMI, which is the area median income. There is no density bonus and no parking adjustment. Alternative 2, 15% of units at 50% AMI with a density bonus of 1 additional market rate unit for each required affordable unit, and a parking adjustment for the affordable units to 1 space per unit instead of 1 space per bedroom. And alternative 3 is 20% of units at 80% AMI with both of those density bonus and the parking adjustment. So I'm not going to go into all the details on this table. We'll save that for the ordinance committee. But these are the simulated results of each alternative's financial impacts on each of the 4 hypothetical projects. According to the model, all 3 alternatives are not so onerous that they would halt construction altogether. So then it became a policy question of which alternative we choose. We presented the study and our findings to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board in January, and they overwhelmingly voted to recommend alternative 2, which is the basis of the proposal you've received tonight. So we believe alternative 2 responds best to the needs of the community, given that 40% of Malden households make 50% AMI or less, and those households are far more likely to be cost burdened. The ordinance will apply to projects that create 8 or more units. 15% of units will be set aside for households making 50% AMI or less if it's a rental project, and 80% AMI if it's a homeownership project. Developers will be allowed 1 additional market rate unit for every required affordable unit, regardless of density controls, and affordable units will require 1 parking space per unit as opposed to 1 space per bedroom. Developers may pay a fee of $300,000 per required unit in lieu of providing the unit on site. We estimate that this fee is about the same as the cost to develop the unit, if not a little higher, to encourage developers to build the units on site. So there are a lot more details to discuss. So we've invited Jeff Levine, our consultant, to come to the next ordinance committee to review his work on the feasibility study, and we'll take a more detailed look at the ordinance itself. This is just the beginning of the conversation with you all, and we expect to have a thorough and constructive discussion on each aspect of the proposal in committee. For the public, the full text of the ordinance and the feasibility study are now posted on the city's webpage at cityofmalden.org/housing. Adopting inclusionary zoning is a huge step forward in our efforts to create more affordable housing. We're excited to continue this conversation with all of you. Thanks.
Okay. I believe the mayor has a letter on this. Mr. Lucy, would you read that for us, please?
Be happy to. Address the Malden City Council, attention Neil Anderson, President. Dear President Anderson, I am pleased to present to you our proposal for Malden's first inclusionary zoning ordinance. This is the culmination of 2 years of exhaustive investigations, conversations with community members and experts in numerous iterations. Inclusionary zoning will require a percentage of housing units in new residential developments to be set aside as below market affordable housing. We knew from the outset that if this were to work in Malden, it needed to be designed with Malden's housing market and housing needs in mind. To achieve that, we hired Levine Planning Strategies and Colliers International to conduct a feasibility study, which was funded by contributions from the city, Malden Redevelopment Authority, Malden Housing Authority, and a grant from East Boston Savings Bank. We formed an advisory group to meet regularly with the consultants made up of city and MRA staff, city councils, and the Affordable Housing Trust Fund board members. The study included a thorough review of Malden's housing needs, a market analysis, interviews with market rate and affordable housing developers and owners, and a financial model to test the impacts of inclusionary requirements of prototypical developments. Our goal was to develop a policy that would maximize the potential for new affordable units without preventing new construction altogether. After numerous iterations, the advisory group settled on 3 alternatives, which were presented to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund on January 20th. The trust voted unanimously to endorse alternative number 2, which is the basis of the proposal that you will see tonight. We expect the council will want to have a comprehensive discussions on the details of this proposal. Tonight, Evan Petrini, MRA Senior Planner, will present an overview of the proposed ordinance, and Jeff Levine of Levine Planning Strategies will be available to attend ordinance committee meetings to give an overview of the study, which is now published on the city's website. We are submitting this draft for discussion purposes only to allow the council time to thoroughly review and deliberate before moving through the rest of the process. Adopting an inclusionary zoning ordinance is a huge step forward for Malden. It will ensure that new development will provide affordable housing opportunities for all residents. We have a lot more work to do, but this ordinance is a crucial piece of our efforts to make long-term investments that will preserve our community and protect our neighbors. Thank you for your consideration. I look forward to working together to move this legislation forward. Sincerely, Gary Christenson, Mayor of Malden.
Thank you, Mr. Lucy. Any comments? With none, that will then be referred on to committee. Did we vote on that already?
We did.
Yes.
We did. Okay.
Yep.
Next order of business.
Paper 233-21, be hereby ordained as section 10.08, general safety and welfare of the revised ordinances of 2020 be amended relative to the prohibition of red light cameras in the city of Malden.
Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Council President. So I'm just going to read the full text of this, and I just would like to then refer it to ordinance for further digestion and discussion. So the body of the paper basically just talks about the fact that the governor's administration is proposing the installation of red light cameras at intersections throughout the Commonwealth. There has been some previous analysis by the Federal Highway Administration that show that rear end crashes can actually increase when red light cameras are installed at intersections, and that there's only a modest aggregate cost benefit analysis when when these systems are installed, and that rather than using this type of punitive measure to decrease, criminal speeding and running of red lights, we should be instead investing in our roads and the way they are designed so that people are not encouraged to speed or run red lights. If there's any questions, please let me know. But in the meantime, I'd like to refer this to ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. I don't see any hands raised.
Second,
On the motion to refer it, seconded by Councilor Di Maria. Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes. That paper has been referred to committee. Next order of business.
Paper 235-21, order that city council approve an increase in the COLA base from 14,000 to 18,000 for contributory and non-contributory retirees of the Malden retirement system.
Counselor Murphy. On
Yes.
Counselor
I'd
Murphy,
like, sorry, I'd like to refer that paper to finance, please.
on Counselor Murphy's motion to refer the paper to finance, seconded by
Second.
Condon,
Counselor Kamel, second by Counselor Kamel. Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
He's gone again.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes. That paper's been referred to committee. Next order of business.
Paper 236-21, order the city solicitor provide a review of which state laws, statutes, regulations, or emergency orders, if any, affirmatively grant the city of Malden, city of Malden, the city council, or the mayor special emergency powers to indefinitely suspend local law, rules, and ordinances.
Counselor O'Malley for the paper.
Thank you. This is particularly related to the fact that there's discussion, at the state level about whether or not, how much longer the governor's emergency order suspending the open meeting law is going to take place. And we've suspended a few other things like local ordinances during this time. And I just would like to understand like how we are doing that and where our emergency powers are defined. Ideally, this doesn't go on indefinitely, but it's something that I think is important from a rule of law perspective to understand how are we suspending these. I see Solicitor Fallon has her hand raised, so I'll defer to her.
Yes, Solicitor Fallon, please, your response.
Thank you. I would need far more information about what specifically is being requested here. If it's just pertaining to open meeting law, it's a pretty broadly worded order here. So I think if there's particular areas or specifics with regard to this, otherwise I have no direction or I have no understanding of what this is even looking for. So if it's just pertaining to these specific executive orders relating to open meeting, is it pertaining to return to person? What exactly is it referring to?
Counselor O'Malley, you want to respond to that, or do you want to table this until you get better clarification?
Yeah, this one is specifically this paper, a specific one that I was focused on is really the hours of City Hall. The hours of City Hall are set by ordinance, and we're currently not following that. So I was just wondering how we have changed the hours of City Hall without changing the ordinance.
So as the solicitor said, it's too broadly written the way the order is. So we can table this, so we can vote on whether it's to be approved. It doesn't sound like you've added any clarity to what the solicitor is looking for.
If you just give me 1 second, I'm just going to look up City of Malden ordinance. I'll give you the exact ordinance number.
We'll give you the time.
Thank you. 1 second. And then I would move to amend to just this specific ordinance, if that is sufficient in terms of specificity. And I do want to thank the city clerk as well as Karen Anderson for the new Unicode system, it is very helpful in terms of finding ordinances. So I would move to amend the paper specific to finding out if we are allowed to suspend section 2.04.010 hours certain offices to be open, where it says, except on holidays, city administrative offices shall be open to the public from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, and from 8 a.m. to noon on Fridays. That would be my motion to amend.
Solicitor Fallon, does that give you any more clarity?
So I just thank you, Counselor. I just want to be clear in understanding what you're asking the council to order. So is it in general, or is it in the context of the pandemic and the federal and state and city emergency orders that there's a closure? Because are you looking for how the mayor and the Board of Health derive their ability to shorten the hours or close the building or temporarily close offices in the pandemic? Or are you looking for that just in a general overall review of regulations and laws and statutes?
Go right ahead, Councilor O'Malley.
My apologies. I guess I'm just generally, how is the city of Malden, however that is defined, whether it's the city council, the mayor, or the Board of Health, how is the city of Malden suspending that specific ordinance 2.04.010? And if it's a federal emergency order that allows that suspension, then that would be fine. If it's a state statute or order that allows that, or I'm just trying to understand how do we suspend ordinances, and is this something that can be recreated and we can just suspend ordinances rather than changing them? Like if I for instance, if I would like to bring my dog into the park, do we just suspend the ordinance that prohibits that? Or is there a process for doing that?
Solicitor Fallon, go right ahead.
Yes, see, this is why I'm not quite clear on what this is asking for, because there isn't an ordinance that's been suspended, and I'm not sure about the dog ordinance or anything like that. So I think this is why we need some clarity. Are you talking about in the context of pandemic? Because that's not what it seems like you're asking for. It seems like you're just in general asking how we can suspend the ordinances. And of course, as a legislator for the city, that you can amend ordinances or take legislative action with respect to ordinances. So that's your job and your duty here. But there hasn't been a suspension of any ordinances. There have been numerous emergency orders and executive orders issued. So if it's into that context and you're looking for the authority in that context, I can understand that, but I still can't understand what you're asking for in a general sense. And we don't offer opinions in a general sense because, number one, it doesn't make legal sense to do a general opinion like that, because we basically go based on facts and situations and history and things like that. We don't just offer an opinion or an analysis of laws and statutes and which ones can be suspended. I mean, we work in the framework of amending or repealing with the city council. So there actually hasn't been any kind of a repeal, amendment, or a suspension, as you're suggesting, of any city ordinances. There have been emergency declarations. And so that's why I'm not understanding what you're even asking the council to order here.
We got another hand up. Councilor Seeker, you want to weigh in?
Yes, Council President, thank you. I apologize that my camera's not on this evening, but for some reason, every time I turn it on, your voices start to lag, so I can't understand what anybody's saying. But Councilor O'Malley, I'm just a little confused at this order. The mayor changed the hours just during the pandemic. They haven't been changed forever. There's still a state of emergency. So I'm too struggling with what it is you're looking for this order to be. Like, I don't understand. And if it was about city hall hours, why didn't you put city hall hours? Why did you make it so broad that nobody even knew what this paper was talking about? So I'm not in support of this order. I will be voting against whatever it is that you decide to do. The mayor is the mayor for a reason, and I trust his judgment to close City Hall on Fridays if he needs to during a global pandemic. So, thank you.
Any other comments? So there, Council O'Malley will give you another shot at it.
Thanks. Just to clarify, there are two things going on here. Just generally, I would like to understand if we have the statutory authority to suspend ordinances during an emergency and where our emergency powers come from. That is, as a legislator in our city, interesting to me. I think it's valid for us to understand that. More specifically, there are some specific ordinances. I highlighted one of them, which is the hours of City Hall defined by the ordinances, which the City Council writes and is in charge of. That one specifically is an example of a ordinance that has been suspended indefinitely for over a year now. And the question was, how is that being done? If the council does not want to find that out, that's fine. It's something that is interesting for me. I would like to understand how we suspended that ordinance because we're no longer following that. And if it points back to Governor Baker's emergency order, or if it points back to Donald Trump's emergency order, then so be it. But I think having that opinion is important for the rule of law.
All right, Councilor O'Malley, you've had 2 or 3 bites of this apple. We've had the response from the city solicitor. Do we have a second on this order?
Second.
Councilor Di Maria seconds that order. Let's have the clerk call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, no.
Crow,
No.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, no.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Sika,
No.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, no.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson,
Anderson, no.
it's 6 yeas and 5 noes.
The order passes.
What?
Next order of business.
Excuse me, could you recount that? I had 6, I had 5, I had the
The
opposite.
the only one I question is Council Crow, you muffled a little bit. Were you a yes or a no?
It's a
Was
no.
it? Oh, then I apologize. It's 5-6, it fails.
The order fails. Next order of business.
Paper 237-21, order that the city solicitor provide an opinion of the City of Malden's compliance with state laws and Department of Revenue regulations related to general revenue entering and exiting the billboard mitigation operating account 2838-134-5725. This opinion should properly reference the relevant law, rules, and regulations related to municipal finance in Massachusetts.
Councilor O'Malley for the paper.
I want to thank Solicitor Fallon for providing this opinion to us prior to the meeting. This order is no longer necessary, so I would move to place on file.
Councilor O'Malley wishes to place this on file.
Second,
Is that correct? We get a second to that?
second,
Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. That paper will be placed on file. Next order of business.
Paper 85-21, order that the city submit to the Massachusetts Legislature for passage the following revision to an act relative to the preparation of certain bilingual ballots in the city of Malden, originally adopted by the city on March 16th, 2021, and I'd be more than happy to speak on that one.
Great.
So who's going to be the speaker in that? The first name on there is Councilor Spatafora.
I was gonna just give a little background on it.
Oh,
Council
go right ahead.
President.
I'm sorry. Mr. Lucy.
Okay,
go
so,
ahead.
so going into this, we knew it was gonna be a process. This passed unanimously back in March. How the process goes, the state delegation, specifically State Representative Altrino, takes it into the State House. They give what we sent into legal counsel, and legal counsel makes recommendations. The changes that they made, there were 3. And basically, it's saying what we put in there, but they just changed how it was formatted, and they suggested we make a couple things separating out the state and the local city elections, which is what we did with the new document. So it's basically what you pass, it's just in the format that they recommended.
Everyone clear on that?
Mhm.
It was enough for change that we, I thought it best that you voted again before I just make the changes and send back to the council and the State House.
Okay. Look like everyone under the sun has sponsored this, so on the motion by Councilor Spatafora, seconded by Councilor Di Maria, clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Di Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
I apologize. What's the motion?
to send it back into the State House with the
Ah,
changes.
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Thank you.
That order has been passed by the city council. Next order of business.
Paper 238-21, Communication Planning Board, paper 40-21, amendment of 12.16.050, chapter 12, revised ordinances of 2020 as amended, Dimensional Controls in Industrial Districts Council, paper number 40, 2021, amendment as submitted and with the following revisions. A, do not delete the words or water courses. B, after the words or water courses, insert the phrase excluding the Malden River.
Councilor Spatafora for the communication.
I make a motion to refer this to the ordinance committee.
On Councilor Crow's motion, we refer this to the ordinance committee, seconded by Councilor.
Di
Thank you,
Maria.
Council Crowe. I apologize. I'm
Maria.
working on, so refer to ordinance, please.
Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel,
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy. Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Or yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Passed by the city council. Next order of business.
Paper 239-21, Communication Planning Board, paper 41-21, amendment of 12.12, chapter 12, revised ordinance of 2020 as amended, use regulations for Malden River Site, plan review, city council, paper 41/2021. Approval of the proposed amendments as submitted and with the following revisions and recommendations.
On Councilor Spatafora's motion, we refer this to the ordinance committee.
Go to ordinance, please.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes. That communication has been referred to the ordinance committee. Next order of business.
paper 240-21, communication, planning board, paper 42-21, amendments of chapter 12, revised ordinance of 2020 as amended, floodplain district 12.08.040, use regulations for floodplain district 12.12.110, table of intensity regulations 12.16.010, yard requirements for all districts 12.16.070, usable open space and space requirements for all districts 12.16.080, dimensional controls in industrial districts 12.16.050 per paper 42-21.
On Councilor Spatafora's motion, we refer this to the ordinance committee, seconded by
Second.
Councilor Crowe. Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes. That paper has been referred to the Rules and Ordinance Committee. Next order of business.
paper 241-21, committee report, rules and ordinance, paper 121-21, order be it hereby ordained that the revised ordinances of 2020 be amended to create a Department of Planning and Economic Development.
Councilor Spatafora.
Refer to ordinance, Mr. President?
That's to be enrolled.
On
Oh, I'm sorry,
Councilor,
it's part of the other, I'm sorry, it's part of the MRA.
this is the MRA, that's right.
Sorry about that, Mr. President.
What is your druthers, Councilor Spatafora?
Motion to enroll.
Motion to enroll, Mr. President.
On Councilor Spatafora's motion to enroll, the clerk, please call the roll.
We have a second?
Second.
Second.
There's four of them.
Got a whole bunch of seconds. I hope you picked out a voice there, Mr. Lewis.
The first one, and it sounded like Council Crowe won again. I don't know.
He's
Come
quick.
out.
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Yeah, Winslow, I just want to make clear that we're enrolling the paper that came out recommended by the committee,
yes,
which amended the paper that was sent down there. So that's what we're enrolling.
it did do, it amended the name of the new department, and it added all that future environmental language.
Yeah. So yes.
Papers
Anderson,
enrolled.
yes.
Anderson, okay.
Yes. Okay. That paper has been, what is it, ordained?
Enrolled.
Enrolled. Okay, next order of business.
We have four papers on personnel appointment. Council Crowe, do you want all four at once, or do you want to take them individually?
Why don't we do the committee report all together and we can vote individually in case somebody, there's somebody in particular, someone.
Okay,
On Councilor Crow's motion to receive the committee report.
Second it.
On the committee report, clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Committee report is received. Councilor Crowe for the committee.
So last week we had a personnel and appointments, and we spoke to four of the mayoral appointment to the Disabilities Commission. So I'm not sure if you want to, Clerk Lucy, want to read the names and addresses? So people
Sure.
know what we're talking about.
Yep, it's, the first one is paper 242-2021. Chukwuka is Woozy, 122 Belmont Street. There's Lauren Shipper, 16 Main Street. There's Shanti Chilakuri, 30 Franklin Street, Unit 123. And there's Amanda Bells, 4 Stone Lane, apartment 5235.
And so we met with each of these, the 4 individuals who really were, I think we were all kind of blown away at really their qualifications in there. Sort of how they came at looking at the Disabilities Commission from multiple angles. And as we remember that the mayor sent down a paper asking that we expand the Disabilities Commission because we have a problem with some having quorum. And so these are the 4 additional people. I see some hands. I'm not sure if someone wants to say something, but Chuwaka, I can't say his name either, but he says Chooks. He is a special advisor with a law background, and he has really brought a whole breadth and depth of, he is a person that lost his sight at a young age and has really accomplished a great deal. Lauren Shipper works for Amazon, and she's the special services manager that really ensures that Amazon is doing all they can for accommodations for all their employees and looking at more ways to include the disabilities. Shanti is a senior IT professional, so we thought that was a fantastic way. She does have a family member, a brother that has some disabilities, so she's kind of grown up with it, and she really wants to make a difference here in Malden. And Amanda Bellis is a marketing and communications manager, and really talked a lot about what they are doing, how do we let the rest of the community know what the Disabilities Commission is doing and how they are working to improve the community for all abilities. So we were really just thoroughly impressed, I think, with each and every one of the candidates. So I'd make a motion, we can do it separately, that we appoint Chukwuka to the Disabilities Commission.
Second.
Yeah,
Councilor DiMaria. There's a couple of hands raised. You folks with hands raised, would you like to speak before the vote? So we'll
Yes.
start with Councilor Murphy.
Yes, I would. Thank you, Council President. You know, as somebody who has interviewed people as a chief operating officer in a major corporation throughout my life, usually you get 4 people to come in and there's a few who are your favorite or who really stand out. And I have to say that I truly listened to the interviews. I had read the resumes, and after hearing the candidates speak, my only comment was, I am so glad I don't have to choose between the 4 of you. They were absolutely amazing. It's just wonderful to know that these people live and reside in our city and want to participate in our government and help as we move forward in so many different directions. So, you know, I'm happy to do this, Councilor Crowe, any way you want to, voting on them individually or voting on them as a group. They all have my vote to move on to this board. They truly are going to bring something special to it. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor DiMaria.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too want to echo the fact that I went into it asking Councilor Crowe, please don't tell us we have to pick. So they were absolutely fabulous getting to know them. Each one of them had a great interview, and it was a full representation of the faces of Malden. And honestly, I'm so pleased to vote on these 4 candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And from the chair, I'll say that, you know, I've been around this council for a long time and for many, many years, and so have some of my other colleagues who've been around a long time. We always saw insiders that were placed in these boards and commissions, someone who had an inside track. And as we've put the word out to the general community, what we find are that we've got some amazing people in our community, and we just needed to let people know that there was a place at the table for you, and we want to have you come on board. And I think we see that in the appointments that come forward. We see that as we talk to these high school students on different activities that take place, what great talent we have here in our own city. So I'm pleased to support all this as well. So with that, we're going to take these individually, I guess.
Well, we could take the first two together. The only reason I separate the third and the fourth is they do have different expiration dates. So maybe if we take the first two, like I said, put Chooks, and his appointments to expire March 15th of 2024, and Lauren Shipper, whose appointment is to expire again March 15th of 2024. Make a motion that we approve them for the Disabilities Commission.
And so
I'll
we
second
have had a motion and a second at that motion. The clerk will call the roll.
Second.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon,
Correct.
yes.
Yes.
Di Maria,
Di Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Tika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
Therefore, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. These two applicants have been appointed to the committee. Next order of business.
Make a motion, we approve Shanti Shakori as a member of the Disabilities Commission. Her term to expire March 15th of 2023.
Second.
Second, motion by Councilor Crowe, seconded by Councilor Di Maria. The clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Di Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Tika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
Therefore, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Again, appointed to by the committee. Next order of business.
Motion to appoint Amanda Bellis to the Disabilities Commission, her appointment to expire March 15th of 2022.
Second.
A motion by Councilor Crowe, seconded by Councilor Sika. The clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon, Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Di Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Condon, yes.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Tika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
Therefore, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Again, confirmed by the city council. Next order of business.
Paper 246-21, Committee Report, Public Properties, paper 142-21, petition, Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon, 118 Flanders Road, Westboro, Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon, installation of necessary telecommunication equipment and corresponding aerial fiber optic cable on National Grid-owned utility poles. Verizon also to install antenna and apparatus equipment and aerial fiber route to collocate small wireless facilities, also referred to as small cells on existing wooden utility poles located within the public right-of-way of the following location, 145 Cherry Street, with the condition that the equipment not be installed on any poles that are double poles or adjacent to double poles until National Grid replaces them, and these installations do not include mechanical cooling devices or fans, and the final electrical inspection for the purpose of releasing the electrical meter will not be performed at any location where a double pole exists.
Council Linehan moves that we receive the committee report. Seconded by
Second.
Councilor Di Maria. Clerk, call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Mel, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
Therefore, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Committee report is received. Council Lenahan for the committee.
Thank you, Council President. So the committee met last week to take up a number of petitions. Before we had our public hearing, we took off the table a petition for 145 Cherry Street that had come to us with incomplete information. The petitioner supplied that information to the satisfaction of the committee, and we moved to untable and then recommend favorably the petition to place a small cell at 145 Cherry Street with all the usual restrictions and requirements.
So on Council, I don't see any hands raised on Council Lenahan's motion to grant the petitions. Clerk will call, do we have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Councilor Winslow. The clerk, please call the roll.
Mel,
No, yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
It's better for yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Petitions are granted. Next order of business.
Paper 247-21, Committee Report, Public Property, Paper 183-21, Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless to collocate small wireless facilities, also referred to as small cells, on existing wooden utility poles located within the public right-of-way at the following 18 locations: 115 Bowden Street, 283 Salem Street, Bryant Street side, 380 Salem Street, 173 Bainbridge Street, 42 Blantyre Road, 177 Forest Street, 140 Mountain Vernon Street, 4 Montrose Court, Tremont Street side, 3 Nealon Street, Mountain Ave side, 146 Clifton Street, 79 Tremont Street, Mountain Ave side, 50 Holden Street, 205 Ferry Street, High Street side, 33 Converse Street, 40 Hancock Street, 40 Pratt Street, 168 Madison Street, 43 Florence Street, with the condition that equipment not be installed on any poles that are double poles or adjacent to double poles until National Grid replaces them, and these installations do not include mechanical cooling devices or fans. In the final electrical inspection for the purpose of releasing the electrical meter will not be performed at any location where a double pole exists. And table 2 petitions at the following locations: 29 Ashland Street, pending information confirming the location of existing tower already located in proximity to the pole and whether it could impact the radiation safety limits, and 80 Mountain Ave, pending the distance of antenna to the residents and confirming 80 Mountain Ave.
On Council Lenahan's motion to receive the committee report. Councilor O'Malley,
Oh, no, after we receive the committee report.
on the motion to receive the committee report.
second,
Call the roll.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Mel, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
Better for yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson, yes. Committee report is received. Councilor Lenahan for the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as I mentioned, Public Property Committee met last week. We had a very full agenda. We did conduct a public hearing for these 20 new small cell installations around the city. But we also did receive a communication from our building commissioner that I just want to review quickly about equipment changes to a previously approved small cell petition. So that doesn't require a committee vote, but just by way of a brief explanation, from time to time, the equipment needed to install these small cells that we've previously approved sometimes becomes either obsolete or unavailable in the interim from that approval to when they actually go to install it. So Nelson Miller and I have had a discussion about this and have determined that we can provide an administrative approval for substitutions of equipment in cases like this after he's had a chance to review them. And he'll just ensure that the replacement equipment is substantially similar to what we approved and continues to meet our code requirements. So he's agreed to conduct those reviews. I just want to publicly kind of express my thanks and appreciation for that. We do want to make it as a good practice just to simply inform the committee and the council and the public of any instances like that during our regular committee meetings. And so the letters between the petitioner and the building commissioner will, of course, be public records and will be fully accessible online. And then I just want to kind of verbally update as part of my committee report as well. But again, there's no vote needed. And if those type of things happen again, it will basically take place over email from the petitioner to the building commissioner and myself, and then we will read that out loud for the benefit of the public. So getting back to the petitions that we reviewed last week, we held a public hearing to discuss them. After doing so, the committee did move forward with a vote to recommend 18 of the sites favorably to the full council and to table 2 of them, that being one at 29 Ashland Street, pending additional information on infrastructure that's already installed on the same pole. And the other one would be at 80 Mountain Ave, pending confirmation of the distance from the antenna to the residents nearby, as well as just confirming the address as it was listed incorrectly in the petition. So we voted unanimously to recommend those 18 others to the council, with the usual conditions around double poles, the mechanical cooling devices, and electrical inspection.
Thank you, Counselor. I see one hand. Counselor O'Malley, is your hand raised to speak on this matter?
Yes, it is.
Then before we take a vote, Counselor O'Malley.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to just thank the Chair of Public Properties, Councilor Linehan, for managing and hosting such a professional meeting and hearing process. I do want to highlight that, there were some of the petitions, as Councilor Linehan has highlighted, that were held back because of specific instances where they might not live up to the expectations and the ordinances that we've set. So I do appreciate the fact that they are doing a diligent review of that. There has been a lot of concern in the community about what exactly, these small cell antennas are. Is there any health impact, visually? How are they impacting the street? Councilor Murphy talks about skyline litter. So I just want to thank the Public Properties Committee for doing a thorough review. And I do look forward to revisiting the one on Mountain Ave and any other ones that have been held up as part of your review. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. On Counselor Linehan's motion to grant these 18 petitions, seconded by Counselor O'Malley, the clerk will call the roll.
Kamal,
Yes.
It was
Condon.
Councilor Wenzel that seconded it. Sorry.
What's that,
Condon.
Counselor O'Malley?
It was Councilor Winslow that seconded it. Sorry.
Condon,
Okay.
yes.
got it. Crow,
Yes.
DiMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Tika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Those petitions have been granted. Next order of business.
Paper 248-21, committee report, finance paper 192-21, order that $4,160,971 is appropriated to pay cost of design and construction of sewer system improvements throughout the city to be undertaken in fiscal year 2021 through 2025, inclusive, and to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, 7 and 8, or any other enabling authority. For all portions of this amount may be borrowed through the Massachusetts Water Resource Authority Infiltration Inflow Local Financial Assistance Program, and in conjunction therewith, the mayor and the treasurer are each authorized to enter into one or more loan and/or security agreements with the MWRA, and the mayor is authorized to contract for and expend any federal, state, or any other aid available for the project, including any grant relating to such projects such as from the MWRA, and to take any other action necessary to carry out this project. Any premium received upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this vote, less any such premium applied.
On Counselor Murphy's motion to receive the committee report, the clerk will call the roll.
Kamal,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DiMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Tika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Committee report is received. Councilor Murphy for the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, we did have a very robust discussion about this in the Finance Committee. But as we are on TV, I wanted to take a moment, if you'll all bear with me, to just let the public know what this all means, because this is a lot of money. We're talking about, $4.1 million and change. So basically, we all know there's sewer pipes going under the ground. And we all know our water bills that we get are comprised of our uses of water, but also the sewage input that goes out that the MWRA back charges us for. So we have the sewage that comes out of our home, but then there's also other sewage costs. That's water that goes in through our sewers that are on the streets. And it's also groundwater that actually infiltrates our sewer pipes. And this project is actually to reinforce the sewer pipes that are in the street to prevent groundwater from accessing it, which ups the charge that we as a city receive, which in fact gets pushed back to the actual homeowners or residents of the city. So it's called an I&I. It's called inflow and infiltration. Inflow actually comes from the sewer systems, and not the home sewer systems, but the actual sewers in the street. And infiltration is groundwater that seeps into porous pipes and joints that are in our street. So our engineering department has put together a 5-year plan, and they've done a tremendous amount of work. They basically have meters at strategic locations throughout the city that run during the day that show the amount of water that goes through our sewer pipes. And at night, they go back when basically everyone's sleeping and nobody's using water in their homes, and they look at what's happening and they get a read of more water coming into those pipes. So they've isolated certain areas in the city that are receiving this infiltration that is causing, us to receive higher rates from the MWRA. So this project is basically to look at those areas and either line those pipes with a sleeve that would prevent that infiltration, or go in and actually replace pipes. Now, this project will be refined as we go along. Once this is approved, they'll actually start to put cameras through the pipes to actually see the condition of the pipes. Do the pipes need to be, relined? Do they need to be replaced? Do the joints need to be replaced, et cetera? The one nice thing about this project is, well, multiple nice things about this project. Number one is it's an MWRA loan that's interest-free. Okay, the project is a project that will take place over fiscal years 2021 through 2025. Okay, and it will ultimately reduce the cost that the city is charged back from the NWRA, which will ultimately help the water rates that we all pay, the water sewer rates that we all pay on our monthly water bill. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about it. As I said, we had a rather robust discussion in finance when it came before us. Happy to entertain any questions from the council, but I wanted to make sure that the public had a good understanding of what we were trying to accomplish here, spending about 4.1 million plus change dollars.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. I don't see any hands raised, but I'll tell you that you did a very good job of explaining a very complicated set of circumstances. As you know, I retired from the MWRA, and all those terms that you used talking about water that we're paying for ground when it rains, and the water that it infiltrates into our sewer system. We're paying for that groundwater where we shouldn't have to, as it goes through the meter and increases the bill. So you took a very complicated set of circumstances and made the explanation very simple. So congratulations, as always, Councilor Murphy.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. So I would make a motion to approve this appropriation.
Second.
On Councilor Murphy's motion to approve, seconded by Councilor Sika, the clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Kamel,
Condon. Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Tika,
Yes.
Spatafor,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Motion carries. Next order of business?
Paper 249-21, Committee Report, Finance, Paper 193-21, Order that $4,709,200 is appropriated to pay cost of design and construction of water system improvements throughout the city to be undertaken in fiscal year 2021 through 2025, inclusive, and to meet this appropriation, the treasurer will approval of the mayor, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Laws 44, 7 and 8, and any other enabling authority. All or any portion of this amount may be borrowed through the MWRA's Local Water System Assistance Program, and in conjunction therewith, the mayor and the treasurer are each authorized to enter into one or more loan and/or security agreements with the MWRA, and the mayor is authorized to contract for and expend any federal, state, or other aid available for this project, including any grant related to such project from the MWRA, and to take any other action necessary to carry out this project. Any premium received upon the sale of any bonds and notes approved by this vote, less any such premium applied.
On Counselor Murphy's motion to receive the committee report. Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel, Kamel, Kamel. I just
Kamel.
heard, okay. Condon,
Can you hear me? You got me?
Condon, yes.
Yep. Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Tika,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Committee reporters receive. Counselor Murphy for the committee.
Council President, may I ask the clerk to please read the next paper, as they are basically tied together. And I think it would be easier for us to discuss both of them at the same time.
Through the chair, the request is to the city clerk. Mr. Lucy, would you please do that?
Sure, paper 250-21, committee report, finance paper 194-21, order that $4,407,047 is appropriated from available water sewer enterprise fund retained earnings for fund water infrastructure improvements.
Counselor Murphy.
Motion to receive that committee report?
Motion to receive the committee report. Clerk will call the roll.
Mel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
yes,
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Masika,
Yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. So both those committee reports are before us. Counselor Murphy for the committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Once again, we're talking about a substantial amount of money here, so I just kind of wanted to go into a little bit of detail for the general public. We had a very robust discussion in finance about these papers. This is actually a project that we are in year 3 of. It's a 5-year project. This little less than $9.5 million, will actually help us fund it and get mostly to the end of this. The first paper, which is for 4.7 million and change, is once again an MWRA loan that we will be taking out if it's passed with 0% interest, which is fabulous. The second 4.4 million and change is actually going to come out of our water sewer enterprise fund, which is actually money that's accumulated that's from the water bills that our residents pay. And that money can only be used when we actually build it up to actually continue to fund water and sewer issues. So the money that's in that fund now, we're asking to be used to continue these projects that will help us do a number of things. It's water services, it's improving hydrants, it's improving gates, which are actually almost kind of like doors that fall between the water pipes. I know Councilor Anderson being the water sewer guy, you might be, I'm trying to bring it down to a real generic level of what someone might understand.
You're doing a great job, Councilor.
Okay, but it's almost like a gate that closes in the actual pipe. When there's a break, you can close it so you don't have to shut the entire, city down because of one break, et cetera. It will upgrade those. It will also deal with lead line replacements and also the restoration of roads that have been impacted by digging them up to actually put new water lines in. So we have two different things going on here. We are actually in year 3, okay, of this 5-year plan that started 2 years ago. Once again, we're talking about fiscal year 2000. Well, we're talking about a plan that was approved by the City Council in 2019 and has been worked on for the last few years. So we're just continuing along a path of making our water system safe and also our roads more passable to the general public. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I believe Mr. Ranigan is also in attendance if we have anything that actually moves into that financial area. So I do see a few hands.
There are a couple of hands raised. So first one, Councilor Condon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman of Finance did a great job explaining these papers. Somewhere along the line, I recall that I'm not sure which one of these papers, but there's a 45% payback that will be relieved of some of this money. Is that correct, Madam Chairman?
I believe Mr. Ranigan is here and he probably would be best suited to answer that.
Let me see if I can bring Mr. Ranigan.
This is past his bedtime.
And these?
Chuck, you're allowed to speak.
Good evening. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. Your expertise, sir.
Sure. So Councilor Condon, what you're talking about is the paper that we just passed. That was the sewer work. That's a 45% grant, 55%.
Did I shut you off? I may have.
I think we lost him, Mr. President.
Nope, he's back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We hear you now, Chuck.
So Councilor Condon, that 45%, 55%, it was the sewer paper that we just passed. That was a 45% grant, 55% loan, 0 interest. So we only have to pay back half of what was just approved. And actually in year 5 of that sewer paper, it's a 75% grant, 25% loan. This one, there is no grant associated with it, but as Councilor Murphy had mentioned, it's a 0% 10-year loan.
I think that's the most impressive part of these 2 papers, because this paper we're in year 3. So a couple more years will be squared away with this. But the mere fact that we're just beginning lining the sewers from for the next 5 years, and to get relieved of such a large amount of money was very impressive when you looked at the MWRA loan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranigan. Thank you, Councilor Condon. And you're absolutely right. This isn't a glitzy project. It's nice to spend money on things that you can see with new roadways and parks and so forth. This is stuff underground that we don't see, but certainly needed to be done. Councilor O'Malley next. Your word, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm fully in support of this. I think in finance and previously when we approved some of this in the past, I think that we want to go as big as we can, and we do know that the American Rescue Plan doesn't allow for $46 million around to be used if we can for the replacement of lead service lines and improving our water system. I just want to give a little anecdote. So a while back, we had approved Comcast doing trenching in our downtown, and we were able to negotiate as part of that agreement curb to curb resurfacing from Converse Square, which is the intersection of Main, Salem, and Ferry, all the way down to Route 60 by Walgreens. So before they pave that, we want to make sure that we get rid of all the lead service lines. The engineering department got back to me today, and for just that stretch, about 3 blocks, there are 31 lead service lines. Like, that's crazy. And so when we talk about, Malden has the highest percentage of lead service lines, we're talking about a really old city. And, luckily of those 31, 18 are abandoned. So they are not currently being used. They still are attached to the water main, but luckily no one's drinking out of them. 13 are still active. So we are aiming to remove those 13. It's papers like this and making sure that we prioritize these funds that will make our city safer in the future. So I'm fully in support. I thank the mayor and the rest of the council, as well as the financial team, for making this possible. Thank you. And the engineering department.
Thank you, Councilor. I don't see any further hands raised on Councilor Murphy's motion to adopt the order. Clerk will call the roll.
Council President orders 2. Just want to make sure we get both of them adopted. So we have paper 24921, which is docket item 24921, paper 19321, and 25021, paper 19421.
Mr. Lucy, want to take them separately, or we're going to do them collectively?
Whatever you would like. Doesn't matter to me. We can take them together if you want to vote them that way.
Let's do them together, Councilor, unless there's any objection. We'll do them both together. The clerk will call the roll.
Do I have a second on that one?
Second.
Second by Councilor O'Malley. Clerk will call the roll.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Maria, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Ellie, yes.
Baker,
Sika, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. So those papers have been adopted by the city council. Next order of business.
Docket is clear.
The docket is clear. On a clear docket, Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I just wanted to say and remind folks again that Councilor Crow's shaking her head. I don't know if you want to lead on it, but this coming Saturday, the weather's looking very good for the Malden Bicycle Fair. So still plenty of time slots for people to sign up for getting a helmet. You can bring your bicycle down and have it checked over. If you have a young kid who's still trying to learn to bike, the Mass Bike will be there to help kids learn how to bicycle. The Malden Fire Department, Cadalba Ambulance, and the Malden Police will also be present. So just looking forward to that. That's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or noon at the Fairway School. Go to Eventbrite to sign up. That's also on the city website. And then also I wanted to wish our Muslim residents and folks May 13th, this coming Thursday, is Eid, the end of Ramadan. So I just wishing everybody a great breaking of the fast there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to let everyone know that tomorrow there will be a planning board hearing at 7 p.m. And tomorrow there will be a proposal for a special permit down at 200 Exchange Street, which is the old Bank of America building. They are proposing to have a special permit to allow for some research and development and some, pharmaceutical uses. They don't have a specific tenant solidified yet, but this is an opportunity for us to get great businesses to Malden. So I just wanted to highlight, if anyone would like to testify or provide feedback, you can come tomorrow at the planning board hearing at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to thank all of the Ward 5 residents who participated in the clean sweep, which was our 10th annual clean sweep. It's kind of like spring cleaning for those of you who've never been through it. We go through the wood and really try to get the sidewalks and the streets in shape, and just spiffed up to begin the summer season. And also to just remind everybody, we had a couple of new initiatives in Ward 5 that have taken place, and that is, it's been titled April is Over, but Earth Day is Every Day. So we are trying to make Ward 5 be as beautiful as it possibly can be. And we are looking for a couple of things. One, we're looking for people to take ownership of the tree well, a tree pit, whatever you want to call it, in front of your home or near your home, and beautify it, whether it has a tree in it or not. You can plant flowers in it, use rocks and stones to create something that passerbys might look at and wonder what it is. If it's an empty tree pit, you can create a micro garden. As most of you know, the community garden was something that I was determined to have come into the city 6 years ago. And we now have 5 gardens with almost 100 beds. And we're looking to kind of create micro gardens in Ward 5, whether you plant flowers or you plant a little herb garden. Would love to see the creativity that you can come up with. And if you email me at bmurphy@cityofmalden.org, I'll be happy to give you a little sign that said it's tended by whatever name you want on it. And also, if you would like a tree, we have a number of streets that are really just devoid of trees. I've ordered a number of trees. And if you would like a tree planted on your street, if you email me with the location, the DPW will come out and evaluate the location for the acceptability of a tree planting. There are a number of things that, have to conform to putting a tree in it. So you can't just say you want one and it magically appears. But if it, doesn't have a gas line or a sewer line or a water line, it doesn't have, overhanging, electrical lines, we can certainly accommodate you and put a tree in front of your house, because we all know that, bringing greenery and landscape to our city is important to our quality of life. So, please reach out to me on any of those things, and looking forward to keeping Ward 5 the best it can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Crowe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to first reiterate Councilor Winslow's, we have the bike rodeo. We have plenty of bike helmets that will be given away. We separated them by hour just to make sure that we can maintain social distancing. And besides we have an obstacle course and, for some bikes and, some trivia. And I just want to say thank you to Kathy Mack and some of the young men and women at the Teen Center who've been working with a local bike shop to refurbish. I think they've done 7 bikes that it'd be a free raffle, but they're ready to go. They're all different sizes. So we'll be doing that raffle that day as well. So it should be a really fun day. So I hope everyone has a time to stop down. And by the end of the week, maybe the weekend or the latest Monday or Tuesday, the second community refrigerator will be in place, fully stocked and ready to go. It'll be located on Canal Street, right along near the bike path. It's so it be kind of close to where the bench and the sculpture is down along there. So we're really excited to have that happen. So, and I want to thank everybody that really put their time and effort into making sure that this was possible. So, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. And from the chair, a couple of things I'd like to mention. Well, first off, again, I want to thank Counselor Spatafora for his presiding over the meetings during my absence the last few weeks. Thank you very much, Counselor Spatafora, for that. Councilor Winslow and Councilor Crowe just remind me of the bike rodeo, and I want to say thank you to Councilor Winslow and to his successor at the Bike to the Sea, Jonah Chiazenza. Is that how I pronounce it right, Councilor Winslow? Close. Okay. I'm working on a project in the parks. You know, I know all of us, particularly us ward councilors, we have these issues that complaints come up in the parks in our neighborhoods. And when we get residents who are making complaints, who do they call when someone is walking their dog through the park when they shouldn't be? Or who do they call when there is somebody riding a bicycle or a motorized scooter through the park when they shouldn't be? You know, when they do it on off hours, too often it's the police that they call. And as far as I'm concerned, the last people that we need to be calling for those kind of activities is someone showing up with a badge and a gun to handle something, you know, like those kind of issues. So I'm working with Joe Levine and others on trying to do a little pilot program where I'm going to try to get some wardens, some ambassadors that will be working in the parks in Ward 7 to handle some of these complaints. Someone who can be goodwill ambassadors that can help people understand what the rules and regulations are around their use of the park. And in order to do that, we were able to get through the courtesy of the Malden Police Department, the use of some of their bicycles that they purchased a few years ago. Remember when we had guys like Dave Morse when he was on the Malden Police Department. He was riding a bicycle around the city with his short pants on and his police uniform. Well, those bikes were sitting dormant for a while, and Jonah and Steve Winslow and others were able to tune up those bicycles. And those are the bicycles that we'll use to pedal around between the parks and Ward 7. It's something that I'm hoping we can do and expand throughout the rest of the city of Malden. We've got some possibility for some bigger plans of encouraging people to get back into the parks, but using them in a positive and a fruitful way. And so, as Councilor Winslow and Councilor Crowe mentioned, the bike rodeo, I couldn't let this day pass without thanking the Bike to the Sea former head of that, as well as the current head, Jonah, and doing the work with that. I also got some communication today. As some of you may have already known, Chris Webb has sent us a communication recommending against us having 4th of July ceremonies this year. You know, knowing, and you all know how much I love doing the 4th of July. I love the idea of being able to get our neighborhood and our community out to have a day of fun and festivity in such a great way in our city. But given the pandemic and given the fact that although our numbers are going down and we're looking good, we still need to do the social distancing. And our director of the Board of Health is advising us that it would not be in our best interest or the interest of our citizens of Malden if we were to go back into having a 4th of July. It's something that we can kick around a little bit more, but I'll be sharing that correspondence with you. And the last thing I'll say is that earlier this evening, someone said to me, "Wow, you guys got a lot to cover tonight." There's the docket, when I printed it out, was 11 pages. And here it is. It's only a few minutes before 9 o'clock. So we've been going for just under two hours on this 11-page docket. You all will remember, we've had dockets where there may have been a page and a half, and we've bickered back and forth, and some of those meetings have lasted until 10:30 at night. And so this was a productive night, councilors, and I just had to have a chuckle with that, and I just wanted to share that with you. So without any further ado, I will look for someone to make a motion that we adjourn. And that will be Counselor Murphy, who moves that we adjourn this meeting.
Adjourn.
And the clerk. Do we get a second? Anyone else
Second.
want to stay around for a little while longer?
Second.
We have a second. The clerk will call the roll. Clerk Lucy, you're still muted.
Kamel,
There you
sorry
go.
about that. Kamel, did you say yeah? Kamel? No?
He's frozen, but I'm
He's
sure.
frozen again.
I
Okay.
heard him say, yeah.
I did
I'm
too.
sure he
Condon,
wants to adjourn.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crowe,
Condon, yes.
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
Betafora,
He's gone.
He already split as well, huh?
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Our meeting is adjourned.